1 in 5 miles of highway and roads in America are in poor condition. 1 in 5 miles. Some states it's worse where the weather is tougher. 50 years, 50% of our bridges are over 50 years old. You know, there's 400,000, well, I won't get into the numbers, I get carried away, but power outages cost the U.S. economy up to, now this is, you know, we know this, but until you add it up, it doesn't seem to be that big a deal. It cost the economy, Congressman, $70 billion annually. You hear me? The entire system in the state collapsed. The entire system. This deal will modernize the power grid, more energy efficient and resilient to and resistant to extreme weather. Anybody ever believe you turn on the news and say it was 116 degrees in Portland, Oregon? 116 degrees. Look, especially for cyclists and pedestrians, which are increasing significantly. I won't even get into this now, but you know, we have thousands of miles of pipeline. The vast majority of those pipes are 60 years or older. Some of them more than 80 years old. A lot of them are leaking. What are we not doing? The kids would have to sit in the fast food parking lot just to do their schoolwork and homework because they can connect online? Not a joke. No one to buy, no one to sell, and know what's going on.
Know what's going on.
Hey guys, I think it's time to give ordinary people a tax break. The wealthy are doing fine. I mean it. I mean it. Why is this not a tax break for working folks when the stuff we give to the super wealthy are called tax breaks? Baby!
Yeah, Joey baby. There you go. What is
Joey baby!
Unreal. Going to trust me, despite the lunacy that's breaking across the country, chronicling his decline for some time now. But now the fact that he's on the world stage and it's happening in front of world leaders and we're being laughed at is very, very dangerous. And it happened during one of the sit-down meetings with world leaders. He completely embarrassed himself in front of the world, forcing Boris Johnson to actually correct him on the spot. Here's the moment.
To say how pleased I am to welcome those who have just joined us in some pretty spectacular weather with them, Prime Minister Modi, President Ramaphosa, President Moon, just a minute, and the President of South Africa as I said earlier. Oh, you did? I did not. I certainly did. So we're going to mention it twice. So,
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to get. Let me tell you, we're lucky. I'm going to say we're joined by Prime Minister Modi. I'll be here in a moment.
President Biden said the world will find out within a few months if any of Putin's promises will hold, but he lost his temper when asked why he seemed confident that Putin could change his behavior.
So what did I say was confident?
He later apologized.
I shouldn't have been such a wise guy in the last answer I gave.
Joe Biden is a nasty, often mean guy. He is. You can't get away from it. You know, during the campaign, he was blessed. He was totally hooked up in the basement or in those special areas where he could keep people and the press away from him. He never would have won had it not been for COVID. He knows that. His staff knows that. They've actually...
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
That would have taken out a candidate.
By Texas Governor Abbott at the Rio Grande Valley, where there's a massive border and humanitarian crisis underway. Now, fair warning, these next few images may be very disturbing. This heartbreaking image of an abandoned 2-year-old was released today by the National Immigration Institute. Take a look at that. Look at the trash scattered all around that poor child. Cars and trucks whizzing by. 2-year-old, folks, a 2-year-old. What in God's name can be going through that baby's emotions each individual month? That's a whopping 6,000 illegal apprehensions per day. Now just think about that for a minute. And that's just the ones who are caught. I can't even imagine the number of illegal crossings in any given day.
Just antagonizing the current president and the administration's policies. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked the guest before, because I'm amazed to see when you look at these.
As he walks, he's talking to him.
Last night from
That's what a president. That's how a president acts. That's how he fucking carries himself.
Realize Trump had it right.
Oh, fucking a feeble-minded fool.
And yet I don't see any indication that they're going to make a change.
No, because it's part of their.
I'm really happy to have President Rivlin here, and I don't want, it's not technically appropriate, but I'm so delighted his daughter is here. She's in the back right there.
Joey seems to be delighted with everyone's daughter these days. You don't believe me? Let's get into this. This is in Wisconsin today, visiting a small ice cream shop and his owners. And as you can see, he's being greeted here by the owner. But of course, before he goes in, he must take a moment to talk to the underage prepubescent girls in the crowd.
Guys, we made it.
Fucking nasty motherfucker. Perverted fucking. He's a sick fucking pedo, dog.
So this is...
Hello. Nice to meet you. I'm good. How are you? Hi.
Well, yeah, we do have big oldest. Well, actually, we're both engaged, and they took over the business for us a few years ago. Right? Yeah, I'm retired.
Yeah.
These guys are doing a great job.
Got a great
That's the
team.
next future of small business, right?
To walk around unclothed. Very, very unnerving. All right, folks, of children. This is disgusting.
New tonight, state police arrested an FBI agent assigned in New Orleans on numerous sexual misconduct charges. State police received a complaint on 51-year-old David Harris back in February involving multiple victims across several jurisdictions across the state. Harris was arrested in Ascension Parish and booked with multiple charges, including indecent behavior with children. When he's released,
This is the FB fucking eye.
for sexual.
Yeah, this was at the factory down in the Carolinas, and it is really amazing to see.
All right, so this is earlier in the day, old story over and over again that has been debunked. Once again, he also repeated the story about the Amtrak conductor named Angelo, who used to grab his cheek and got really familiar with him, almost got shot by the Secret Service for being too friendly with Joey, who he talked about how Joey had been on Amtrak for so many years and never happened.
And a guy named Angelo Negri came up and he goes, "Joey, baby!" He grabbed my cheek like that. And I thought they were going to shoot him. I really did. I said, no. He's a friend. He's like, what the hell? And he said, "Big deal, Joey. 1 million, whatever it was, 300,000 miles. You know how many miles you travel on Amtrak, Joey?" And I said, "No, Ange, I know." And he said, "That retirement dinner, we calculated. We estimated 127 days a year."
Yeah, the story.
Something done. If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done. And if we have to, if there's complete lockdown and chaos as a consequence of the filibuster, then we'll have to go beyond what I'm talking about. Hang on. Sorry. Oh, Sing Ming, Miss Kim.
Americans moving from India, you cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
wealthy kids, black kids.
What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South if you were running in Democratic primaries against Southerners like Mark Warner and John Edwards?
Now, you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
When you got the first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and nice looking guy.
Who most foreign policy experts around the world say is the wisest man in the Orient. It's a large, very identifiable Somali community. I might add, if you ever come to the train station with me, you'll notice that I have great relationships with them because there's an awful lot who are driving cabs.
Apologize for what?
Former Vice President Biden Wednesday night stood by comments he made this week about his work with two segregationist senators.
I was in a caucus with James O. Eastland. He never called me boy. He always called me son.
At least there was some civility. We got things done.
There's not a racist bone in my body. I've been involved in civil rights my whole career. Period.